What on earth happened to the cryptocurrency market? Following Trump's comments about tariffs on China, we recently witnessed the biggest cryptocurrency liquidation event in history. Was only a Friday to forget. XRP fell sharply. The cryptocurrency market as a whole went crazy. What's going on? Greetings, Peepo Coin Channel, and lovely individuals. I really noticed the tweet that Trump made about some really odd things occurring in China before I went to bed. They are growing increasingly antagonistic and sending bankers to nations all over the world in an attempt to put export restrictions on every aspect of production related to rare earth minerals and pretty much anything else they can think of, even if it isn't made in China. In essence, it could jam the markets and make life tough for almost every nation in the world, but no one has ever seen anything like this. After reading this letter and maybe discussing the possibility of imposing high tariffs on China and the S&P 500, the stock market fell sharply. Crypto, of course, fell. In addition, correct. This is where it began to emerge, but we'll get to that in a moment. According to the chart, the information is difficult to even see. Correct. This occurred, and it started to come out while Trump was speaking. You know this. It's true that XRP dropped from 270 to 265. It was descending and then moving in that direction. An hour or so later, the cryptocurrency market began to collapse, and XRP dropped from 268 to 125. Yes, you heard correctly. At 125, someone managed to purchase XRP. Crazy, huh? For about a minute. It was most likely not you. I was sleeping, so it wasn't me, but 125. That's absurd. Correct. In this case, the cryptocurrency market essentially liquidated everyone. Bitcoin dropped to a low of 101,000. Ethereum fell all the way to 3,400, but it held 100,000. All the way down to 130, Solana fell. 184 now. Doge fell all the way to the bottom. In essence, what is this tenth of a cent? It's back to 20 cents right now, but if someone can use leverage to catch the bottom, it's made a whole movement in 30 minutes. Correct. I was sleeping then. I therefore lost that chance. Correct. However, at the moment, it doesn't appear to be that bad because, well, it wasn't an hour ago that GMT time was in effect. This is where the graph and the numbers recalculated. So it doesn't look that horrible, but if you go here, it looks like it dropped by 25–30%, and you look like XRP, which dropped 53% in half an hour from its peak to its lowest point of the day. Crazy about what? Something that is actually related to XRP. Not at all, correct. We discussed the prospect of this a few days ago, correct? We discussed the potential for the cryptocurrency market to do something similar, which is why it's crucial to enable the notifications and subscribe to the channel. Correct. We discussed the likelihood of a huge sell-off before to a possible rally, and we'll discuss historical events, but in essence, everyone was liquidated in this scenario. 2X was liquidated as well. CoinGlass reports that $94 billion was liquidated. That is an absurd amount. $5.33 billion on Bitcoin in the last 12 hours. Ethereum total, 438. Solana will cost $2 billion. XRP has about 6,700 million. Such absurd figures. I'm still a little stunned, I guess. As in, this is what I woke up to. I'm not sure whether you were watching it live, but the market somewhat recovered after it was announced that Trump would meet with President Xi. This is political theater, I guess. You are aware that even the capital markets are closed. However, we did witness the VIX popping, correct? And after this first sell-off, it sort of stabilized. Then it stabilized, isn't that correct? However, the cryptocurrency market continued to fall off. These were these enormous 20% candles, correct? These are 10%, 12%, and 1% in a minute. And this large one here went around 20%. We haven't seen these things since the crash, essentially. We have the 1.6 billion, 1.2 billion, and COVID crashes. 19.6 billion today. The market is obviously far higher now than it was back then. Additionally, the market has a lot more leverage and potential money. However, they also improve the way they calculate here on the CoinGlass by adding. Consequently, the figures are more precise. Therefore, these figures were likely slightly higher, but nevertheless. People are claiming that this was a premeditated and organized dump, that H&W opened a $1 billion short position, that the Treasury Secretary should take any action to maintain market stability, that Trump announced a 100% tariff following the close of the U.S. market, and that the alt stumping ranged from 60% to 70% in a single candle. The last time cryptocurrencies experienced a 50% drop in a single day was during the 2020 pandemic. There was a huge out season that followed. Will the same thing be seen by us? Perhaps. Again, as I have no idea what the market will do on a daily basis, I will never advise you to buy, sell, or hold. I have no idea what Trump will say. I have no idea how the market will respond. Not financial advice, of course. Always conduct your own research before making an investment. The bright side is that you're safe if you were in position, which means you weren't leveraged. Correct. When we discuss leverage, I always tell you that I have used it to make a lot of money and to lose a lot of money. Fortunately, I'm on vacation, so I wasn't really leveraged. I demonstrated those two positions to you yesterday. In fact, they were closed before to the collision. And since I set the stop loss at 0, there was no damage, no foul. I knew I wouldn't be able to respond, so I didn't have any leverage positions aside from that. If something similar was taking place, I made the decision not to open any leverage trades. That is, my bright spot. However, I am aware that many of you were liquidated. Many of you had close positions. Even some conservatives, like the token 2049 Connor Kenny, with whom I was speaking, do 3x, 2x. Depending on the asset you were looking at, I believe even 2x were liquidated here. Therefore, this is a weird circumstance that is larger than FTX and larger than Luna. It's October, people. And this was the biggest cryptocurrency sell-off incident. Correct. This was not supposed to occur. Shouldn't have been in that circumstance. But what does this teach us? A couple of things. We never know what will happen. To reiterate, you may recall that I always have that monkey on my back. Due of what I've been through over the past 2 years if you've been watching my channel for a while. That is not the case for other folks. That's what I have. Alright, so, regrettably, I can bring that from my experience. That monkey is mine. I am aware that markets are subject to change. I am aware that I can't be on the computer all the time when I'm on vacation. I don't want to be on my phone all the time, and I can't. So I retreated. Is that correct? I am Spot. This sell-off at XRP at 235, Bitcoin at 100, Ethereum at 377, and Solana at 184, some individuals would consider this. For some, this could be a lucrative purchase opportunity. Oh, crypto is broken, others could say. Run to the hills, I say. I am aware of both situations. However, it will be fascinating to watch how the cryptocurrency market responds to this. I appreciate you watching. Next time, I hope to see you. Let's make a lot of money, as I usually say.